Hello everyone, welcome to day 6 of March Lead Code Challenge, and today's question is shortest encoding of words. If you'll read this description, this is shitty, I'm not able to get anything out of it. Whatever I'm able to understand is through the example that is specified here. So let's try and understand the algorithm understand the question using this example. So you're given time, me, and bell as an array of strings, and you need to tell the length of the smallest, shortest encoding for these words, and where each word is separated by a hash. And why have we not included me in your answer set? Because time already covers me in it. Therefore, you ignored me. What was the possible length that is generated? Time hash bell, or you can also generate bell hash time hash. So either of them would work. We are only interested in generating the length of such strings. That would be the shortest. So let's quickly understand the algorithm that I have created for this. And let me just start the slideshow. The question looks weird, but it's not that difficult. And let's try to go through few examples and get a good hold of the concept. Let's assume that we are given three words: time, tile, and bell. What would be the smallest string that contains all these three strings separated by hash? The smallest string length would be 16, and they can be arranged in any order: tile hash time hash bell hash, or time hash tile hash bell hash. Any of them, any permutation, any ordering of these words would work, and the length would be 16. Also, no word uh, incorporates any other word in itself. All of these three words are independent in nature. So looks perfectly fine. Let's talk about the second example where we have time, me, and bell. This is quite similar to the one that was specified in the question itself. Me is already contained in time as it matches the last two characters. Therefore, we can ignore me safely. And hash time hash bell hash would be the length. So the length would be 11. Sounds great. Let's move on to the third example, a slightly bigger example, so that you get a good hold of the concept. We have time, we have me, we had IME, and we have bell. So time is the longest word that includes me and IME in it. So we can safely ignore these two words, and we can only include time in our answer. Time hash bell hash. The length would be again 11. So if you are able to understand these three examples, you'll be able to build the logic by yourself. How? Let's move on to the logic slide. So the problem reduces to identifying the duplicate set of elements that are somehow covered by the larger elements in your data set. For example, me is already covered with by time. IME is already covered by time. So what we are interested in, we are interested in finding out those elements that are somehow get covered by other elements in your data set. How can we do that? We will use two for loops for this process, and we will use ends with method of Java. So Java ends with method is operated on two strings. So string 1 str1 ends with str2. That means if it ends with str2, then it returns true, otherwise it returns false. For example, time ends with me, so this will return true. Also, me does not ends with time, so that will return false. I hope this method is clear to you. So me does not end with time, so it will return false. However, time ends with me, it will return true. So let's try and build the logic. So we'll use two for loops for each element in our data set. We will compare it with every element in our input set. provided that element is not equal to the current element itself, and we will check if uh, any element in our data set ends with the current element. If that is the case, we will add it in our duplicate set. So we'll have a duplicate set created for this. So let's try this up. So time is the first element. Me does not end with time. IME does not end with time. Bell does not end with time. So this element is not a duplicate element. Let's move ahead. Time ends with me. That's true. So a duplicate set has me in it now. So we'll add me into our duplicate set. Then comes IME. Time ends with IME. That's true again. So we will add IME in our data set. And time does not end with bell, so we can move ahead and ignore the case. So this is how we'll build our data set. Once we have our duplicate set entries, then what we'll do, we'll iterate through the input set, and if the current element is in the duplicate set, we can't do anything. We have to include that in our answer set. Otherwise, if it is included in a data set, then we can ignore that element. So these two elements get ignored. We will add the length of this current elements into our counter variable and update the counter accordingly. Also, don't forget to add extra one for hash. So let's quickly code this up. So let's start the coding process. One step that I missed informing is to first sanitize your input words list. What that means, if we have duplicate entries like A, B, so we can safely ignore the two A's, and this is the input set that we should ideally operate on. So we can create set of words. And how can we create set of words? There is a straightforward method, set string, and I can call it word list, new hash set, and I'll created a new array list of words using the string input. And what we'll do, we will simply iterate over these. And how can we iterate over these? Using indexes. That would become slightly trickier. So let me just create a list using this word list. So let me just call it word set, and let me just write word list, new array list using word set. Yeah, this should be fine. And now let's use indexes to operate upon the word list element. I plus plus for integer j equals to 0, j is less than word list dot size j plus plus if I is not equal to j. What do we need to do? We need to check if word list dot get I dot ends with word list dot get j. If that is the case, we need to add word list dot j into a duplicate set. So let me just create a set of strings and call it the duplicate list, dup list, new hash set. Sorry, you can create a list as well because it's already sanitized. So dup list dot add word list dot get j. And once we are done with this, we have all those elements that are somehow covered by other elements in our input set. And let me just create a variable count equals to 0 for string word over word list if word dot contains if word list dot contains sorry duplicate dot contains the word, then what do we need to do? We need to ignore that. Otherwise we will update the count variable. And how will you update the count variable? Word dot length plus 1. Don't forget to add plus 1 for the hash, and simply return count from here. So let me just try this up. Looks good. And let me submit it. Accepted. What would be the time complexity of this approach? The time complexity would be limited by these two for loops. That would lead to order of n square, where uh, n stands for the number of strings that we have. And what would be space complexity? Space complexity would be order of n, because at max dup set can contain order of n elements, and where n again stands for number of elements in our input set. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it.